Hey, Guru Nation, welcome back to the Clinical Trials Guru.com. A very special interview today. We've got someone who reached out to me on Snapchat, Kai Dawkins, as you can see right there. Welcome, Kai.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I'm going to give people a backstory. So, Kai has been following me on Snapchat, messaged me a few days ago and said, hey, you're always doing videos about how to be a CRA. Why don't you do one on other jobs, like starter jobs in the industry? Coordinators one. So Kai happens to be a project specialist, clinical project specialist. We will not mention with whom, but just you can, there's only like 5 big CROs out there. So your guess is 1 out of 5. Most so Kai, very good idea. And I literally just got off the phone, Kai. You probably heard there was a student, and I'm prepping him for a job interview.
Okay.
He's going for an oncology CRA job interview, the most difficult, right?
Okay.
Also the highest paying, but the most difficult. He's a graduate from my July academy, so he graduated in October, finished the internship now, and he's ready for the interview. So we're just giving him some interview tips. I recommend to all my students, even in the academy or just anyone watching, if you want to be a CRA, that's great. Okay, you can do my CRA academy. That doesn't guarantee you're going to be a CRA. What that guarantees is that I can help lead you in the right direction, maybe get your foot in the door in some capacity. And this was a very timely Snapchat conversation because I literally just had this similar conversation with someone that same day, right? So it's
Okay.
almost like every day I'm talking to people about this. Like, get started. I know you want to be a CRA. So do you, Kai, right? You want to be a CRA.
Yeah, for sure. Eventually.
Yeah, so get started. Get started as a study coordinator. If you don't have any experience and you don't want to do my CRA Academy, that's fine. Get started as a patient recruiter for research sites, commission only. Like I would hire you right now if you walk through the door. So there's ways to get experience, to get your foot in the door. Kai found a great job as a project specialist. So welcome, Kai. Give us some background on yourself, who you are, how you discovered clinical research, and what your future goals are.
Okay, so I went to college. I actually majored in psychology, and I was on the pre-med track. I actually went to medical school for a couple of years, realized I hated it. I wanted nothing to do with it, and I eventually left after a couple of years. Now the whole time during this situation, I had a good friend of mine who was a CRA. He's been in the industry about 6 years now, and he had always told me if I didn't like it or wanted to do something different, think about clinical research. And then eventually the time came, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll try this clinical research thing. And
Okay.
so I had moved for a contract position. Actually, that's how I originally got my start as a
Okay.
contractor. Not making too much money, but enough to get by. And our main role there was cleaning up a TMF. This TMF for this one particular study had gotten way out of whack, and they hired about 10 contractors to help clean it up. So by clean up, I mean,
That job. How did you get that job?
wow. So I originally got that job by applying, basically using Indeed. Just,
Yeah, tell you guys. Indeed.com.
but
Okay.
I mean, it's gotten very competitive to get these entry level positions now. Even just to get your foot in the door, it's gotten really, really competitive. I know my friend I was just telling you about. He got in the industry actually as an in-house CRA, no experience, and they hired him straight on as an in-house CRA without any experience, no research experience, no nothing, just a bio degree. And but I had all that experience. I had 2.5 years of research experience, not clinical, but bench research experience in undergrad. And I eventually got hired on as a contractor, doing the TMF cleanup
Through Indeed, right?
through Indeed. Yeah.
Was that the
Um,
recruiter or was that directly a direct hire?
that was through a recruiter. So I technically worked for a recruiting company.
Okay.
Um, and then yeah, so the contract was through the recruiting company. But you obviously worked for a CRO or whatever.
And how long was your contract for?
About 2.5 months.
2.5 months.
Yeah, it was extended a couple times. It was originally for I think 6 weeks, and then got extended a couple times.
Okay, and then you got rehired by the same CRO.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, I eventually got rehired on for a full-time position, pretty much right afterwards. There
So
wasn't
now,
much.
is this your current position?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
The roles are slightly different though, because I was doing a lot of cleanup. I was doing a lot of contacting sites, trying to get documents sent over via either wet ink documents or just scanned copies, writing a lot of note to files. But now, since all my studies are pretty much in startup phase, there's not really much TMF going on. So pretty much my tasks are going to be more like Project Point, taking meeting minutes, setting up Project Point, giving people access to metadata.
Like all the onboarding, all the new site onboarding activities.
Right.
Now,
exactly.
Are you doing like startup regulatory, or is that a totally different department?
That's totally different department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
you're helping the sites when they need access to EDC or when they haven't done their EDC training. That's someone like you helping them out, right?
I haven't had to do that yet.
Oh.
I think that each company is going to be different with that. I think my role is going to be a little bit unique in the sense that I'm not 100% project management. I do have the clinical aspect of TMF as well. But I mean, each person in my role in the company is going to have a different role as well, depending on what the sponsor wants and the requirements of the project manager and such. Like, I know some people that I work with that don't do any meeting minutes, but I have a good number of meeting minutes to do every week. So it just depends on, the study requirements and who you're working with and what they expect.
Now, how intense was your interview?
For the contract or?
Yeah, for the contract.
Well, they were really behind on delivering the final packet to the sponsor, so it wasn't that intense. I'd say it was an interview with the recruiter that took about like 20 minutes, and then probably a few days later, it was the interview with the hiring manager, which was just like the CTL on the program. So that was it. Just two interviews. I'd say about 30 minutes each. Okay. And pretty much same thing when they rehired me on. It was just one interview, two interviews, about 30 minutes each.
Now, how many interviews did you have to do before you got your first hire?
Okay, so to go back, I applied to probably over 180 jobs through Indeed.
Say that again, Kai, because
180.
I'm emailing that they say, "Hey, I'm not getting any calls back," and I said, "Well, okay, how many did you apply to?" "Oh, only 2." I didn't get any callbacks unless it's your lucky day.
Exactly. No, what happened? It takes time for them to call you back. Like, I still get calls now from back when I was looking for jobs last summer from recruiters saying, "Hey, I found your resume. Like, are you still in the job market?"
Well, now because you're working somewhere.
It definitely changes once you have CRO experience on your resume. I can definitely say that for sure.
This is why get your foot in the door. It's not going to be your job for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
This is what I tell you. Here's the strategy. You get hired just like you did. Immediately update your resume. Let's say you get hired today, right? So March 2017 till present, I'm updating my CV. I work for this CRO. This is what I do. Re-upload to all the job boards. You're going to get dozens of calls the next day, maybe even that day.
Yeah, you're not lying. Huge change from after I had been a contractor to applying again after that, because I didn't know I was going to get rehired, and then ultimately getting rehired. Huge change. Way more in-person interviews. It was just a completely different experience the second time around.
So 180 applications.
So yeah, it sounds like a lot, but my strategy there was, so you know how Indeed has the little quick apply?
Yeah.
I would just crank those out because those
Mhm.
are easy. You got to do those, and then anytime you had left, do the other ones because those are going to take more time. But and I was applying for jobs I had no business applying for, to be honest. Like CRA jobs with like no experience. I was applying to like senior CRAs,
Right.
even just to get the recruiter's information and then like follow up with them a couple weeks. Maybe they know somebody who's looking for a position. Um, so that's really how you should work it. Just get recruiters' information and keep in contact with them and follow up with them. I know you always say follow up, follow up, follow up. So you've got to do that for sure.
What else is there to do? Like, what other variable do you have to be in your control? You have very little you can control as an applicant. You
That's
know,
true.
following up is like the pretty much the only thing you can do after you submit your application.
Right.
Writing a cover letter. I've never written a cover letter, but then again, I'm not like a traditional job seeker. It's funny actually. I did this experiment with the how quickly could I get a CRA job, and I didn't have any clinical research experience. However, well, I had clinical research experience. I didn't have any CRA experience, but
Right.
I
Right. Right.
had very many transferable skills from being a QA director at different sites. I was the owner, but I didn't tell them that. But so I put my job titles as QA directors because no one wants to hire a research site owner. They just for some reason they don't do that. So
Okay.
QA director. I had 4 interviews and I got 2 contracts. So I was 2 for 4. And I didn't do any follow-ups, no cover letters. But if I were in the job market and I didn't have anything else going on, I mean, I would be doing everything. Control everything that you can control. Like that's cover letters, that's updating your CVs as often as possible, that's following up, calling, like just everything you can do. And it sounds like that's what you did. Did you ever use a cover letter, Kai?
I did at first, but it's too slow. It's too slow to continue to keep changing and putting the different information. Um, so I would pretty much just avoid it. If it was optional, I wouldn't do it. Now, take that advice with a grain of salt, but that's what worked for me.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean, I think what's a safe bet is to definitely get a recruiter on the phone, so they hear your voice, they know who you are. Just follow up with them constantly, and then obviously get your resume into the right hands doing that.
Mhm.
Um, I mean,
So
maybe you have some different experience with the cover letter, but I find that it doesn't work. I mean, who reads those things anyway?
yeah, I've never used one. Um, yeah, I think it needs to be repeated 180, right?
I mean, I
Got
can show you for proof. I think I might have pulled it up. I'm not
to
I'm not joking here.
track that because I don't know how many I applied to.
Let me see. Let me pull up my Indeed. And this is probably a conservative estimate too, because there's Glassdoor and the other sites as well.
Yeah.
Um, and then I didn't even put like half of them.
Have you used ZipRecruiter?
No, I never use. I just pretty much use Indeed. See, here you go.
ZipRecruiter.
Applied
Wow,
185.
185. Jeez, man. Okay.
So I mean, it helps if you can upload your resume on your phone too, and you're just like just walking
Yeah.
around or whatever. Just apply to jobs.
hmm This is what it takes, people. And this was when 2016 that you did this.
Summer 2016. Yeah.
I think the job market's even hotter now. I know the first quarter of 2017, I was getting a bunch of calls. They kind of slowed down a little, but that's probably because I didn't re-upload my resume. Um, in fact, I'll try it. I'll re-upload it tomorrow and see if the phone starts ringing again. That's a little hack. Just re-upload your CV and it refreshes every recruiter's database.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
they always want like the most recent, right? So if your CV's been out there for a long time, there's a couple things there. Either you've already been hired, most likely, so they
Mhm.
won't call, or you're not good. I mean, no one wants you, right? So just keep re-uploading it, make changes, make tweaks, and that's a good little hack that I figured out recently. So yeah, get your foot in the door. Everyone wants to be a CRA. Kai wants to be a CRA. Kai will be a CRA. Now, have you been upfront with your employer about that?
Um, I've been up front now, um, but I was a little. I didn't know in the beginning. I mean, I thought I wanted to be a CRA. I know a lot of people in the industry who are CRAs and seem to
Yeah.
enjoy it, but I didn't want to just close my mind off to everything else, because I think that could be detrimental too. There might be something else you really like as well, and I
Mm.
think as you get more experience in the industry, you'll see what you like and what you don't like. Um,
I think that's a good strategy. Like in the interview, just be focused on your current job that you're interviewing for, and then once you get your foot in the door and a few months pass by, then you can tell them, hey, I really want to be a CRA, so can you put me on a pathway to do that?
right.
Good idea. So how close do you think you are to that point?
Um, that's a good question. Um, I don't know. I can't really say. I'd say probably maybe within another year, conservatively.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I can't really answer that question.
And
With
do you work from home?
I do not.
Okay.
Um, I think you have to be a senior. You have to have a couple years experience under your belt for them to allow you to work from home. That's
Okay.
that's just the company I work for. Other companies have different policies. I know. I think Parexel, they are really good at. I think they were on the CNN list for like top 10 companies that allow you to work from home. So I
Yeah,
know, so I know that's probably something that they are really passionate about and try to implement.
that's good.
Yeah.
So did you ever consider going the study coordinator route, or um, because of the fact that you got hired relatively quickly, you never really pursued that route?
Um, no, I wanted to stay in the CRO world. I didn't really want to go site level.
Smart.
Um, I figured just because that would probably be a little bit closer to what I was doing in medical school. That I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really want to do that. I wanted something a little bit different, more different than
You
that.
want to be closer, fewer steps removed from your goal, which was CR.
Exactly, exactly.
The
But
reason I
now,
sites is because, or study coordinators, because there's more opportunities and there's usually fewer requirements
for going directly into CRA.
for going to be a study coordinator.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, um, yeah. You're probably right about that. I know a lot of companies are having programs now for if you're a coordinator with some experience, they'll hire you directly as a CRA and train you. I know that's pretty popular right now. But that really didn't cross my mind. I just wanted to stay in the CRO space.
Hmm. So we got into it a little, but what's some of your job duties, job responsibilities?
Okay, so I mean, I guess bread and butter is going to be Project Point maintenance. So I don't know if everyone uses Project Point or how other zeros work, but
I don't even know what that is.
it's basically like a hub where you can hold documents. So you can hold
Oh, okay.
you can hold your meeting minutes. Actually, one of my studies uses it for TMF. Um, you can hold like PSSV documents, confirmation letters, follow up letters, pretty much any document.
Yeah.
They hold project plans up there, clinical monitoring plans.
Monitoring plan. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much
Have
anything.
monitoring plans?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Have you seen any monitoring plans?
Um, so two of my studies haven't reached that point yet where they built the monitoring plans.
Okay.
One of my studies is past that point. So I mean, yeah, I could go in there and look at them, but I have other tasks to be doing.
Oh,
Um, uh, but yeah, I mean, I could go in there and look if I needed to for whatever reason. They're
okay.
there. I mean, they're all the monitoring plans are in there. So the project management monitoring plans are
Hmm.
there too.
Interesting.
Um,
So that's called Project Point. Uh, we have something similar that we use for my sites and now my startup CRO. It's called Intralinks. It's the same
okay,
thing from what you're describing. So
okay.
good. Okay. So what else do you do?
Obviously, meeting minutes those take a long time. So when I say meeting minutes, I'm talking internal call meeting minutes. So the people that are going to be on that call are going to be sometimes a project director, project managers, CTL, lead CRA.
Yeah.
Um, other project specialists. So it's going to be about 8 people, depending on how big the study is. And if everyone shows up, about 8 to 10 people. So that one. And then there's also the sponsor call, which is the meeting with the sponsor every week. So I take minutes for that one as well. But like I said, each study is different. Each one is built up differently. So two of the studies I'm on I'm not on the sponsor call.
Did they, when you interviewed the second time, did you interview the second time actually? So when you went from the recruitment company to a direct employee, did they interview you again?
Yeah, they did. It definitely helped that I had worked there before. I would say that was probably one of the bigger factors in hiring me, that I worked there before. They knew my work. They knew who the people I worked with, and hopefully, I'm assuming they put in a good word for me if they were asked to.
Right.
So yeah, they interviewed me again. That was just an hour long, 2 30-minute interviews, and that was that.
So what's your long-term career goal? CRA?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, CRA for sure.
Are you part of that Facebook group, Clinical Research Memes?
I am. I think you had mentioned it, and I joined it because you had mentioned it.
Oh, okay, good.
You mentioned it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's a bunch of CRAs complaining about life, pretty much. But I go in there to followers sometimes. I did a Donald Trump video, how that will impact. So that one it resonated okay on there. So that's interesting. So just be prepared for that. I know a lot of CRAs that are just stressed out of their minds. In fact, many want to open their own research clinics later. They want to open up sites. Like 25% of my clients that I do consulting for, where I help you open a site, get studies, negotiate budgets, all that kind of stuff, are CRAs. CRAs that haven't quit their jobs yet. And smart because you're creating multiple streams of income, right?
Right. So I mean, that must, if a CRO were to find out, that must be looked down upon for sure. Would you say that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because it's not a competing business, right?
Right.
So if you were to open up your own CRO, you might even get sued if there's any non-competes, and every state is different. I know in California, they're not enforceable for employees, but for contractors, you get into some gray area there. So I don't necessarily think so, but I think the general consensus is let's not try to find out.
Right, exactly.
They use like pseudonames or they just hire us to do all the biz dev on their behalf. And they'll hire a study coordinator. So if you go into any research clinic, you won't know who the owner is unless you ask, and they're not required to tell you, right?
Okay.
So I think that's how they get away with it, and I think some honestly just don't care. Like they're ready to quit, and they don't care. They just want to get their site set up and not miss out on the paycheck that they're getting it, and they still have to work. They go to all the site visits, they do all the reports,
right?
The stuff I just did last week. I have one contract right now as a CRA, and I have about 2 site visits every month, so it's pretty good. Helps me teach my students a little better, gets me more of a feel for what it is to actually run a CRO, since I'm doing that. And I was upfront with my employer. I actually had Darshan Kulkarni, who's an attorney. I just interviewed him before I interviewed you, Kai. He drafted a contract because when you're a 1099, you gotta protect yourself. You can get sued. You're working for yourself. You're not an employee, right? So I had to be upfront with them about the fact that I have all these other sites, and I'm actually planning on starting a CRO. In fact, I have started a CRO. So I was very upfront with them. It's all in writing. But I know a lot of CRAs who currently have jobs, and then they want to do something else. They'd have to bring that issue up again, and that you could potentially be opening up a can of worms. So many just avoid that. But always be careful. Err on the side of caution, especially if you're a contractor. I don't think CROs are in the business of suing their contractors. But if they think that you're having a competing business with them, they might sue you. So just
Yeah.
be careful.
It's always a possibility for sure. But yeah, like you said, no one wants to find out.
No one wants to find out exactly. Okay, Kai, that's good. So, what other job responsibilities do you have other than the trial master file?
Obviously, when you think project management, you got to think tracking. They keep track of everything.
Mhm.
So we've got the Q&A log. So if sites have questions to ask of the CRAs and the CTLs, we've got to maintain the QA log. We got the study contact list. So both that includes the people that are on the study for the CRO and the people that are on the study from the sponsor side of things. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of trackers. We got a tracker for the tracker pretty much. Meeting minutes tracker. Got to make sure that's filled out. So yeah, tracking.
If you had to give, as we wrap up, if you had to give someone who wants to be a CRA, just like yourself, but has no clinical research experience at all, some advice, what would that be?
I mean, obviously, you got to get your foot in the door. We talked about this earlier. You've got to get some experience. You've got to get some experience. So, I mean, what I'd recommend is, like you say all the time, just go on Indeed, crank out as many applications as you can, and you do this every day. And actually, here's another thing: go on all of the CROs that you know. Let's say maybe like the top 10 CROs. Go on their page, their job career page, every single day. And I'm not kidding about this. Every single day, go on there and see what jobs they have, because those jobs, they're posted and other people are looking for them and applying for them. So you want to make sure that you're one of the first people applying for them. And do that every single day. I mean, it's a lot of work and it's almost a full job in itself. But if you want it, that's what you got to do.
And you're over there right in the heart of it all in Triangle Park. Did you ever go in person to drop off your resume?
No, I never did that.
That'd be a little stalkerish, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if you'd be able to get in. No, you wouldn't be able to get in.
Wouldn't be able to get it.
No.
Wow. So I've always thought, as a site owner, sometimes we have CROs that haven't paid us for a couple months, and there's actually a few big ones in San Diego. So it's about an hour drive for me. I just drive south, hit the 5 South. I'll be there in an hour. I've always wondered, I've never had to, but I've always wondered what would happen if I just show up at accounts payable and say, hey, I'm here to pick up my check. Like, would that make everything go quicker?
Well,
I've done it.
Here in the park, you've got the headquarters of a lot of them. So, you've got security and stuff. So there's no way.
You're right. Those are the HQ.
So, I mean, I couldn't imagine someone walking into Quintiles and just being like, pay me.
That's where I was going to go. They have an office here in San Diego.
Okay. Yeah. It's not the HQ.
No, but I haven't tried, so I don't even know. They probably have security there too.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you can do it, I mean, it's not the worst way to go about things, but.
Oh, I have another question.
Okay.
Because you're actually in a CRO. I'm just an independent contractor. Do you recommend, and I'm getting these questions from my students, all right, do you recommend taking the SOCRA exam, all that stuff? I always tell people don't worry about that. Just get your foot in the door first. But do you recommend that, like, long term? Like, are you going to do that?
I've joined SOCRA. I haven't thought about the exam or anything like that. I mean, I don't even know if you could take the exam if you have no experience.
No, you need 2 years of experience.
Right. So you need 2 years, and besides, even if they let you take it, I mean, I don't know how well you would do on it in the first place. I mean, you literally don't know anything. So, I'd recommend just get your experience first. Just get your experience, and then opportunities will open up for you, and you'll see it. Just get your experience, work hard, and be nice to people.
So there's project specialist, which is what you are, right?
Right.
There's study coordinator. There's patient recruiters. What are some other entry-level jobs that people can go for?
All right. So project specialist is just what a couple companies would call it. I've seen project assistant would be a similar role. I've seen project coordinator.
Mhm.
which would also be a similar role.
Yeah.
So I mean, all the companies are going to call it something different. You just have to look at the job description, and see if it's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But I know clinical trial assistant. That's another one. That's it's on the clinical side. So I know some of them do minutes as well, meeting minutes, and they do a lot of TMF maintenance and queries and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, so that would also be a good one to look for. I've seen site ID specialist. You've got to worry about that one though, because you don't want to get pigeonholed in your experience. With something like a project specialist or CTA, you're going to get the whole gamut. You're going to get startup, maintenance, and closeout. But with site ID, you're just going to be IDing sites and then moving on to the next thing.
Right.
But I mean, I would say, get your foot in the door and then see what you can make happen once you get inside with that. So I mean, if that's the best you got, go for it.
Yeah, I've been in this industry full time since 2005. Most of the time from the site level until recently. And there's new job titles I'm seeing every week that I've never heard of. So what I tell my students, or just anyone watching, just go to any of these job boards. Indeed is great. I also like ZipRecruiter, Career Builder, Monster, and just type clinical research, right? You don't want to put clinical research associate because you're only going to get CRA jobs. Just put clinical research, put clinical trials, and you'll just see all the job opportunities there. And there's going to be some that we didn't mention in this interview. There's going to be some I've never heard of. There's going to be many you guys have never heard of. And just apply to all of them. Quick apply, one button apply, or if you have to, do it the long way, right? Go register on every company's website and just keep at it. Like you heard from Kai, it took 180 applications, right? 185 and more. He's probably won on other job boards too. 185, and he got his foot in the door. And now there's no looking back. They say once you enter this industry, you rarely will get fired. And even if you do, you can always come back with someone else. People just quit, right? They don't really get, especially CRAs. CRAs don't get fired, they quit.
Yeah, you can see that for sure with the amount of demand that I one of my friends showed me this email she got from one CRO saying they're giving away Beats headphones just to interview for a position. Yeah.
I want to do that.
Yeah, just to interview some Beats headphones. They do all kinds of craziness.
They offer
ridiculous trips and things like that. It's crazy.
Next time you see that, send me that. I want some headphones.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Kai. I appreciate it. We're gonna, if you'd like, come back, check in with us periodically to see how things are going. Let me know if there's any updates. Stay tuned, Guru Nation. Anything else you want to
add? Nothing else. I mean, I guess if anyone has any questions, they can email me at KaiDDawkins@gmail.com. Once again, that's KaiDDawkins@gmail.com. Dan, will you put that in the description? And so
yeah.
For them to get.
I'll get it after we wrap up, and I'll put it on there.
Okay.
Do you follow you on Snapchat?
You can. I don't remember my name. I think it's just Kai Dawkins on Snapchat.
Yeah, Kai Dawkins. Okay, I'll put your Gmail.
Okay.
Only like 10% of the people watching are even on Snapchat, so you'll get. Thank you, Kai. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Dan.
Yep, and thank you, Guru Nation, for watching. This is Dan and Kai from theclinicaltrialsguru.com. Take care.